Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Inman InStudio. I'm Lauren Walker. I'm Senior Director of Strategy here at Inman. And today I'm very excited because I get to talk to John Voigt from Property Base. John, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Lauren, for having us. Yeah.
All right, I have a confession, John. I was a religion major in college. And so
Okay.
you caught my attention when we were first talking about this conversation and you mentioned Aristotle.
Well, I have a confession. I majored in anthropology, but
Oh, man.
I got my MBA in communication. So I figured it out there. It took a couple years, but figured it out.
That's fantastic. So I love how all these things come together. Here we are talking to the real estate industry about something that is 2,300 years old, but is just as relevant today. And I couldn't be happier to talk about this.
Well, cool. Well, I'm excited to talk about it. I'm really passionate. So, I'm not going to ask anybody to have a quiz at the end to talk about
Good.
Aristotle,
Okay.
philosophy, or
All
creed.
right.
Yeah, no,
Fabulous.
no worries. But I think where this comes from is, and again, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Property base on another one of these in studios. I think our previous one in March talking about tech myths that need busting, unfortunately seems just like simply a lifetime ago, right?
So far ago. Yes,
So
absolutely.
far ago, so many things have changed. And if 2020 has taught us anything, is that, we all need to remain fluid from a business practice to a personal life and so forth. And there's no longer set it and forget it business model. And at Property Base, obviously, we're end-to-end real estate technology platform, shameless plug.
That's okay.
And we intend to help clients, brokerages, teams, agents harness and simplify kind of this fluidity that is taking place.
Yes.
Um, and we've talked about it, and props to the Inman Connect Now event earlier in June, that people are just this trying times have simply expedited the digital transformation, right? I mean, we've been talking about real estate tech for a long time. From our side, we've been in the industry for decades, um, and everyone's been talking about it. But this uncertainty has created this urgency, and people are looking for shiny objects. They're looking for answers, and there's some great technology out there. We have some amazing competition. We all strive to push each other forward. You can't go wrong with anybody out there, really. But as you're reaching for these tools, and I'm speaking to the audience here, the brokers, the teams, the agents who are viewing this, and you think about, okay, I need to get a real estate CRM. I need these tools.
Hmm.
As much as you think about why you need them, think about how you're going to use them effectively, right? And that's a big thing, and that's what I'm going to try to mirror, take Aristotle's philosophy of communications and showcase how, yeah, like this will help you adoption and help you use your tools effectively.
Yes. And so you're going to talk about, and this is, if I remember correctly, these are the modes of persuasion, right? These are three modes of persuasion. So why don't you introduce those and how we're going to talk about those today?
Yeah. So the modes of persuasion, or triangle of persuasion, if you will, methods of communication. These are fundamentals of ethos, pathos, and logos. You can forget now those Greek words. It's about honesty, trustworthiness, empathy, emotion, and logic and reason.
Mm.
And these are fundamentals of communication. I mean, I've learned this, like I said, in communication courses, in agency life. Advertisers use this concept. Marketers use these concepts. And real estate being such an interpersonal, service-oriented industry, these values align perfectly with any real estate professional out there. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, right. And it's about that. But this has changed. Our fast-paced moving industry, our fast-paced moving society, things have slowed down. People have heightened awareness of what's going on around them. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of, I'll say it again, a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And these are actually fundamentals. These are a winning model that are truly tried and true.
Yeah.
Um, and what Aristotle was getting at is that it's not just about understanding what you say, but understanding what does the audience need, right?
Yes.
And with this less in-person interactions, it's really the perfect time to prove your worth with better communications. Or thinking about, okay, I used to do this. Now what do I need to do?
Yeah.
And really, as it fits perfectly with real estate, as too does it fit with real estate technology, because you can align all of this stuff with these 2,300-year-old fundamentals that are still taught today
Yeah.
with some really fundamental processes or, tools within the real estate technology space.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I feel like there's a real focus right now on getting back to basics and uncovering those fundamentals and kind of refreshing ourselves and our memory and our understanding. So let's dive in, shall we? Let's
Sure.
start with the first point of that triangle. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, let's start with ethos,
Okay.
right? So ethos might take on a different format or different verbiage, usage, what have you, for a lot of people. I mean, we talk about ethos. I could be talking about my ethos in an atmospheric way. That the word might sound familiar, but where he was coming from and where we come from as a brand is, okay, how do you showcase your credibility and trustworthiness? Buying real estate or selling real estate is stressful on a good day,
Yes.
right? But now, right now, you've possibly lost your brick and mortar kind of walk-in mentality. Look at me, look, here we are, look at this house, and so forth. And now you're trying to find a way, which is at the core value prop here of this concept, is before you convince anyone that they should accept what you say, they kind of need to accept you now,
Mm, yeah.
right? And you don't have the opportunity perhaps to be more in person. I mean, I'm coming to you from Colorado. I know
Right.
you're in North Carolina. My colleagues are spread across the country right now in our individual offices in Boston and Houston and so forth. And much like our clients, who might not be in their offices, they have the same issue. So, where does this align with kind of real estate tech and real estate itself? Is really kind of your brand matters, uh,
Yes.
and this brand goes to your personal agent brand, your team brand, your brokerage brand, however you want to encompass it. And there's a couple of areas where we like to focus on when we talk about, okay, what are you going to do when you think about your brand matters when it relates to real estate technology? First off, kind of testimonials. I know this isn't really a tool, but this is a concept that I think really, utilizing these credible sources now more than ever is key. Getting those out in emails, sharing them on your website, writing your accolades and so forth, right? Really, I mean, it's not that you want to be a me attitude, but there is this jostling in the digital space now
Hmm.
for you to get your face out there a little bit differently than what you used to. And one aspect that really also helps with this trustworthiness and credibility, we believe, is in property-based, you can utilize something called market trend reports. They happen to be called market insights, but we actually kind of slice and dice data out there
Hmm.
that is available on, houses sold, average day on market, average price, local market knowledge, trends going up, trends going down, staying flat, and talk about being able to share data with a potential buyer and seller and say, hey, here's the facts. Here's what I can see in the market. Here's what you should be doing.
Right.
And these market trend reports are readily available within the Property Based Go platform, and you can share these in emails. You can you can actually reverse prospect and find buyers who might be looking for something in this area. Maybe a trend is going down to a level where houses on the market are perfect for a certain contact group segment, right? So that's just one step that you can use of readily available technology and data to showcase your credibility.
Right.
And one more topic really on this notion is talk about a tried and true fundamental thing: email communication. I mean, if you haven't utilized this time to pivot your strategy towards reevaluating how well you do your emails,
Hmm.
do it now. Emails have been around. They're not going away. Email marketing, I believe, is still one of the most widely accepted, widely used, widely um, uh,
It's effective. It works.
effective.
It
Yeah,
still works.
absolutely.
We hate our inboxes,
I
but email marketing still works.
absolutely. I was looking for the word conversions, right? And
Yeah.
so, but so we offer a lot of great out of the box templates, drag and drop email editor to really help you kind of hone in and deliver a confident message and probably an improved tone.
Mm,
Again, you're no longer, okay, great, Lauren, this house on the market, I'll meet you at this address
right.
in 20 minutes.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. You need to explain what that address is, start painting that story, and share market insights, share
Mhm.
testimonials about yourself, introduce yourself in a different way. So that's this concept of ethos, this credibility and trustworthiness that Aristotle is talking about.
Gotcha. All right. So John, who's doing this well? What are you seeing from the property-based customer list of somebody who's really executing on this very effectively?
I mean, I'm gonna jump right into two down kind of on this side of the country here. Nancy at Nan and Co. Properties in Houston, Texas. They're part of the There are actually, I'm going to mention two of our clients who are actually part of Christie's affiliates.
Okay.
Nancy in Houston and her brokerage with a number of teams built in, a few hundred. They do a fantastic job on their website and their social media. They go above and beyond just sharing, new listing available or new house sold. They really create a story and have this wonderful presence about them that showcases their accolades within their market and what they're doing to be I think they also were just announced as invited into leading real estate companies of the world's membership. So I mean, that just talk about their breadth of knowledge, and they're just really, really trustworthy in their market. The other one is Barker Realty in Santa Fe, just south
Okay.
of us here. Their website is bar none one of my favorite websites to look
Oh,
at.
wow.
They share their blog consistency is great. They are constantly looking at ways to really showcase their value to the local market. And I'm going to mention local market a lot, I think, on this interview, on this
Sure.
live event, right? Because that's really where you should be honing in, right? Your local value right now.
Yes. Yes. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
All right. So we've got one leg of the stool.
One triangle, one point of the triangle, if you will. Yeah.
All right. What's our next one?
Pathos.
Pathos.
So pathos kind of sounds like patholog, right? Again, quiz at the end for anyone who's watching. What these are. This goes back to empathy and emotion, and I can tell you right now, I think everyone could use a little bit more empathy in their lives, and that's a personal statement. That's obviously not something coming from a larger brand perspective, but I think in a lot of ways, we at Properties, when we consult with clients and prospective clients, is okay. You want to bring all this technology in. You're reaching for a CRM, a lead gen, websites. Okay, you're talking about Zoom and virtual things, all this stuff. Okay, that's great. You've got the shiny objects and you've got the tried and true objects, right? How are you showcasing your values? How are you going to connect with your clients now? And right at this moment now, and unfortunately probably for the foreseeable future, how are you going to break through the noise of media, of society, and really connect?
Yes.
And again, we're doing it this way or via digital tools. So allow me to kind of elaborate on this one. And I said it earlier, right? I just said shiny objects versus tried and true fundamentals. We're talking about fundamental communication practices. I'll talk about fundamental technology pieces that Property Base offers. A real estate CRM. I think there's been more chatter about needing a real estate CRM now than there has been in a long time. CRM is nothing new. I've seen people talk about put the R back into CRM, the relationships, right? And it's true. But it should be more than just a Rolodex and database of a first name, last name, email, and phone number. This should be a data pool where with our platform and with many others available, you should be able to put in birthdays, kids, number of kids, their kids' names, possibly anniversary dates. You're finding out information that kind of comes about in that small talk when you're understanding, okay, where are you moving from? What do you need? How many bedrooms and so forth? It's all that information should be piped into a CRM. That's a best practice right now that everyone should be doing. If you have a website that allows you to, as we do, that property-based websites, you can actually bring website activity in from a contact or a client into the CRM, and so then you can see, okay, they're looking on your website, they're liking these or favoriting these listings.
Right.
They're asking for more information about this listing, and this data can be again spliced and cut to say, okay, they need this, and that information will help you. And it's not complicated, but I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with, oh my gosh,
it's intimidating.
Right? Yeah. But the data's purpose is to help you share a story and shape the image of the home buying process now more than, you could have possibly, even with the in-person.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the biggest leaps here is that, you can really, it's not difficult,
Hmm.
not easy, but it's not rocket science when it comes to kind of how do you utilize a CRM kind of, and it's weird, right? I'm talking about data
Right.
becoming empathetic,
Yeah.
right? But it goes down to, showcasing you understand them
Yes.
and aligning that with their needs and what
Well, and
you
as
can.
marketers, we get it. It's, know me, see me, trust, want to work with me. And so all of that data fuels that.
Well, what you just said, I mean, hello, what you just said is literally Aristotle's fundamental know me, see me, and everything else. And you've just said it in a different way. That's what I mean. Like this is a tried and true concept that has been around for 2,300 years. And you've just repeated it in a different form. And
Right.
that's what I think is really cool. One more topic on kind of just showcasing empathy and empathetic is showcase you are the master of your area. You're the master of your local knowledge. And your brand, your ethos to pathos should focus on that local market knowledge and showcase this really well. I know you're going to ask who's doing this really well, so
I am.
I'll jump right to that. Vanessa Bergmark at Red Oak Realty in the East Bay of San Francisco. They redoakrealty.com, their website and their usage of all the tools available to them focuses on the local East Bay market.
Hmm.
I mean, better than anyone in that region, and really, I mean, is an example of just what you can do to show that you understand what it means to want to live in a place. You understand what it means to be an East Bay resident of San Francisco. And, as a female-owned business, they also talk about just, women in the industry, but they
Hmm.
go beyond that, right? It's so emotional, so empathetic. And I think I can convey that anyone should go visit their site and just kind of grasp, oh wow, right?
Yeah.
This is what that looks like, and this is a way that, if you've lost out on the ability to have your brick and mortar, placements and so forth, if your offices are closed, digital space, your website is the next, not the next best thing. It's the next frontier of really kind
Yeah.
of providing more information.
Absolutely. And what I love about this is we're talking about this, this very high concept, right? 30,000-foot view of ethos and pathos. But then when we talk about, Vanessa, and we talk about the other, customers that you have, we're really bringing it down to tactical, because you can actually put this into play. It's not just understanding how these works. It's taking the next step.
Yeah. And to anyone watching, anyone can put this into play.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I want to make sure is clear is 30,000-foot view.
Mm-hmm.
Aristotle scares a lot of people. I know I
Yeah.
remember, your eyes were like, where are you going with this?
Yeah.
But it was just a headway into back to basics,
Yeah.
fundamentals. And there's fundamental tools that if you really can align with. So do you want to, I know we got one more kind of.
We got one more. We got logos, right?
Logos, right? So what does logos sound like? Logic.
Logic.
Right? Amazing how these things work out. So this one goes down to kind of, his process and the oration and talking to individuals and so forth was like showcasing things with reason and clarity, using data and so forth. And we've talked about that in some ways, but really it's finding the issues that matter to your audience and presenting them in a way that, okay, you've done the storytelling, you kind of hit on the emotional aspect, but are you ensuring that everything is understood and structured with a logical process? And an area where I think, or we could talk about this in a real estate perspective. The market trends kind of come back alignment, but let's go further down in the process.
Yes.
Let's look at possibly the most misunderstood and stressful concept of real estate purchasing or selling or what have you is the transaction process, right?
Yes.
In some cases antiquated, right? I just refied and most of it was paperless, but at the end of the day, we still had to have somebody come by, and he sat outside on our patio here, had our masks on, and we manually signed documents. In some cases, it was the same one. It was just duplications, right?
Yes.
But talk talk about trying to find a way to digitalize this process. And guess what? Consumers are leading the charge. Consumers will force you to digitize
Yeah.
the transaction process. If you haven't already gone paperless, do so. So the property-based back office allows you, and I'm going to look at this in two ways, is to have logic and reason within your business with our intranet. That's intranet.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of people probably going to go like, huh, what's in, I
Right.
haven't heard of an intranet in forever. Sure. They've been around since what, maybe 93. If you talk to some people, they've been around a lot longer. But the general concept remains the same, a centralized place where everyone can stay on track and everyone can be up to date on everything. So if you brokerage now doesn't have that brick and mortar, how's everyone staying aligned? Are you using Slack? Are you using Google Docs or what Zoom, as we're doing right now, and a number of different virtual tools? But that tried and true technology of an intranet allows you to have announcement feeds, shared calendars, brokerage resources that you can now kind of share and disperse. So that's one side of this coin, is okay, I can actually apply this not to my client relationship, but my internal relationship with my employees. But on the other side, let's talk about the clients for the digital transaction process. There are tools out there to allow them, for better lack of a word, you can involve them, you can include them in the process. You can, with back office transaction management, shameless plug, you can add in, the vendors, the buyer seller agents, right? The buyer seller names, the contact information. And these people can actually watch the process take place and see, okay, where am I?
Yeah.
What forms need to be filled right
now? And
now?
that's that clarity that you mentioned before. That's such a key word here.
Right. And again, that's what I mean. Like these are three, like I said, three modes of persuasion, three pillars of communication. People put them in many imagery in a triangle, but it could be a circle.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and not everything, it doesn't go like this. They cross their boundaries.
Absolutely.
Everything is connected in this concept. Everything is meant to be whole. You can't apply clarity without applying these other concepts. And really, with property-based back office, we have a round table feature that actually, you can invite the client in and they can see, it's called a round table, but they literally can see where things stand, and they can actually share and upload documents. They can ask questions, what's going on here? And who wouldn't want to know right now where things stand in the digital buying process if you're just mentally exhausted or just wondering what is going on? So yeah, those are those three concepts. Who's really doing the?
Yeah, let's find out.
So we work with Remax DFW and Remax Fine Properties in Texas, and they are utilizing this intranet and transaction management bundle, if you will, superbly well. Right, from brokerage announcements to industry feeds. I mean, they really have what we call the blend, and they can literally just pepper in almost like an old school RSS feed information that people need to stay up to date on. But then they're using the roundtables, they're using the transactions processes, and these agents are keeping everybody aligned with logic and reason about, okay, why are we, I'll use the word stuck, but why is the process here right now? And it might be taking a little bit longer because look at all the people involved. But once we get to the next step, look what happens. We only have to hit these two things.
Sure. Being able to see the end, being able to see where we've come from.
Right. I mean, I'll say it again. Personally, just a few weeks ago, like I said, I refied, and it was a good process. But sharing emails, trying to different people coming in, I had to talk to, one person, then another person took it over, and I was sitting there being in real estate tech going, this could be so much better.
It could be better.
they need our tools. So that's what I wanted to convey here. And I'm glad we were able to do so. And I'm glad you were able to see that this isn't philosophical version. This is actually something that everyone's probably can sit there and say, oh, I do this anyway. Okay, great. But here's how you could do it now and how you could do it with real estate tech.
Absolutely. And I think, thank you, because you were really able to kind of clarify for everybody why these concepts are still valid, why they're still important. And hey, we all learned a little bit about philosophy, as we did it. So I think that's really exciting. So thank you for talking us through all that, John. That was really, really interesting.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So
Yeah.
tell me real quick before we wrap up, what's coming down the pipe for property based? Because you guys have been innovating and innovating. And so we're really excited to see what you're doing. So what should we be watching for? What are you excited about? What's happening?
I think I want to tip my hat and our hat first to kind of the industry itself, showcasing the resiliency and optimism that has been taking place over the last few months. And that doesn't just go for you from a media standpoint and all the media outlets. That goes for the real estate professionals, but that also goes for our tech vendors.
Yeah.
Again, I said it earlier, we're also pushing each other forward. For the last year, we had been working on, and we recently launched our property-based Go platform. That's kind of like the next gen of real estate technology. And we're really thrilled because we took a lot of time to listen to industry feedback, client feedback, and we're super innovative. We've got a lot of different developers working on our back office, on our Salesforce edition.
Sure.
And we've all, everything's been combined, and this property-based Go is truly built to help simplify and apply these concepts I'm talking about right now as to whether or not you're a brokerage looking to kind of empower your agents, or quite frankly, if you're a team, we're really kind of honing in on that next audience. I think this month, Inman is doing a great job of focusing on teams.
Yeah.
FYI, July is the month of teams for Inman. And, that is a great audience to talk to right now because they are really kind of trying to figure out their next steps. And property base is looking, to help continuously develop and innovate for a number of these target audiences, including teams as well. So that's kind of a really high level of what's going on. But we're excited. We are constantly looking at the market saying, okay, things are going through what they're going through. But I think we should all be proud and optimistic that we are in an industry that is just continuing to push forward. And so that's what's on our radar. And I thank everyone for the time to listen to me talk about a 23-year-old or 2,300-year-old, philosophy. But as I said,
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. All right, John. Well, you have a great day, and thanks so much for being here.
You too, Lauren. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.